Trump spoke to the Detroit Economic Club. And if you're from Detroit, you probably didn't like this.
I don't think anything that we're talking about today is high on our list. The whole country is going to be like, you want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president. You're going to have a mess on your hands. She just...
Detroit, if y'all need any reason to turn out, this probably is a good reason. I want to kick things off with our normal Thursday panel. So let me do this here, Reese. Reese, I got to let you know first, Reese, we're doing this from the Memorial Chapel at Lincoln University. Okay? So I know your penchant for cussing is high. So just want you to know we have audio that is running in the chapel, Reese. So this needs to be a cuss-less Thursday, Reese. So I need to give you that warning first. So I'll start with you. Again, that comment right there, if there's any way to motivate folk in Detroit to vote, he just flat out just insulted the entire Motor City.
First of all, Roland, I saw that big cross.
I saw that big cross. And I heard Memorial.
I'm going to be on my best behavior tonight. But thank you for the reminder. Yeah, it was disrespectful.
Sure.
And you know,
it was disrespectful. And you know,
he means black people. He means that the black girl president is going to make the whole country black. It's going to make anybody should want to see it. So that's really what it was code for. But this is the same person that said to black voters, what do you have to lose? Your lives are hell, you know, and things like that. And so he has consistently been disrespectful. This is the same person that also tried to get the votes in Detroit and in Milwaukee and in Philadelphia thrown out. And so the disrespect is part of a pattern, a very long pattern. We'll see if this is what takes people over the edge. I hope so, because I have been seeing reports that people are less motivated in terms of the on-the-ground reports in areas like Detroit. So black people in Detroit, stand on business. Don't let Trump get up there and play in your face like that.
Lauren, we've seen this, to Reese's point, when you look at the 2020 election. In the January 6th was about people who voted in 4 cities. And he would often criticize it. He would say Fulton County. He really means Atlanta. He would say Philadelphia. He would say Detroit. He would say Milwaukee. In Wisconsin, they did a partial recount in 2020. The recount only took place in Milwaukee. Trump told his white supporters it was those black people is the reason why I lost.
Yeah, well, to quote you, Roland Martin, it's killing him and it was killing him at the time, and it's going to probably do so again, that black voters is what won it for Joe Biden in 2020. It was killing him that Detroit and Philly and Atlanta made the difference, and Milwaukee made the difference. He hated that. He hates thinking about that. This entire race has been about vilifying immigrants. That's what he's doing. Whether it's Congo or Venezuela or Mexican Americans or Mexican immigrants, that is what he's made this entire campaign about. It is a white supremacist campaign right in front of our face. And the New York Times, for some reason, the so-called paper of record, doesn't want to bring that up. And CNN keeps having panels where they're normalizing it. It's a strange situation. And quite frankly, probably one of the most racist campaigns we've seen in a long time. Even if you go back and look at the footage of George Wallace and Lester Maddox, even those two guys were fairly careful about not saying it like right in front of your face. Donald Trump is done with that. And the media is failing us. The mainstream media is failing us when it comes to pointing out that this is a straight up racist campaign. He does it every single day. He did it again today in Detroit, and tomorrow it'll be something else.
On that particular point, Greg, I keep making this point. It drives me crazy when I look at these political reporters on social media and when they're talking about voters, and they keep going back to, oh, how Harris is just not doing well with the working class union workers. And I'm like, nah, she's doing real good with black working class union workers. She's doing real well with Latino working class union workers. They just won't say the word white, because they don't want to deal with the reality of whiteness. When they talk about identity politics, that's only black, that's only Latino, that's only Asian, that's only LGBTQ, that's women, but they don't want to deal with white. And we can't ignore the reality when you look at the numbers, how can you have Teamsters? In fact, guys, let me know if y'all have that Teamsters ad they put together, the Teamsters for Harris. How Biden-Harris saved 600,000 Teamsters pensions, and they could not endorse her. And the president said on the podcast it was down the middle of 50-50. And I'm going, they save your behinds, but you still are going to support a dude who had a rally supposedly and had people dressed as auto workers. And then when they interviewed them, they found out they were not actually auto workers.
Yeah, absolutely, Roland. This is a man who is the master of one thing, undisputably. He's the master of vibes. He understands white supremacy vibes. He's a creature of pop culture and television, and he knows how to communicate past facts. Some of these same people are the ones who are saying that Kamala Harris is seeding the clouds and creating the hurricanes and sending them to red counties to stop people from voting. And they say that with their whole heart, because this is the way that, to echo what you said, Lauren, race has eaten the American mind. By the way, go Lions. Good to see President Allen. I haven't seen you since the former interim president of Lincoln University, James Donaldson, made transition about 5 years ago this month, actually. Y'all came down to Howard for the funeral. So Dean Lynetta Lee, my man Zizwe Poe, Lincoln's close to my heart as an adopted Philadelphian. So much love to y'all. But, when we see what's going on, as we just heard Lauren say, race is front and center. And you're absolutely right. Lester Maddox in Georgia with his 2x4s and George Wallace, even they didn't go this far. They were strict segregationists for sure at that time. But Donald Trump is a whole full-blooded racist, and he has pulled out all the stops. He's not going to lose votes for what he said at Detroit today. He and Junior Varsity Vance are quadrupling down on the bet that they will gain votes. That's where we are. Something in the Civil Rights Monitor report that Maya Wiley just walked through and that you walked through with her was, I think, kind of remarkable to me. 70% of folks who polled had heard of and were familiar with Project 2025. I don't know about you, Roland. Maybe you'll say a few words about this, or someone else will. I don't know that a document, that 922-page document, something that heavy, has been that much a part of national dialogue since maybe the Pentagon Papers, in terms of something that regular rank and file people, if you say that, now whether they've read it or not, whether they know that Project 2025 is just one pillar of a 4-pillar game plan they have with their database of 11,000 as of June people ready to go into the federal government, with their boot camp should they win to train those people, and with part 4, which aligns with his agenda 47, to put those people in place and wipe out all of the people who work in the federal government and replace them with these automatons. The fact that people know that is truly something for me in this moment. I find remarkable. It's cut through the noise. Now, the question is, as you say, is going to be whether we are going to back up that awareness with action. Because if we don't go to the ballot box, then all of that is for naught. And we're facing something we probably haven't seen in this country since, in fact, the Civil War.
100 Republicans who worked in national security for Presidents Reagan, both Bushes, and for President Trump, now endorsing Harris for president.
She came up as a prosecutor, an attorney general, into the Senate. She has the kind of character that's going to be necessary in the presidency.
Vice President Harris is standing in the breach at a critical moment in our nation's history. We have a shared commitment as Americans to do what's right for this country. This year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
Former generals, secretaries of defense, secretaries of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, CIA directors, and National Security Council leaders under Democratic and Republican presidents, Republican members of Congress, and even former Trump administration officials agree there's only one candidate fit to lead our nation, and that's Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.